Okay, I finally remembered what I wanted to talk about. It's like Gary's 90-year-old grandmother or Trent's 90-year-old grandmother. They both passed, but they had a memory of about that long. And my memory is maybe a little bit longer. But I just called Amy, and so she gave the okay. Amy is my youngest sister, beautiful, tall, uh, no gray somehow in her hair. She's 47. And I asked her if I could tell the story about her relationship with Frank. And she met Frank when she was an 11th grader at a downtown club in the Flats. The Flats used to have more bars per capita than any place west of the Mississippi. They're just happening. This was years and years ago. So she had to keep it secret that Frank was a junior in college or a sophomore in college. So they grew and their relationship grew, and then they went to school, and he went to graduate school near her undergraduate program so they could be together, and that was when they first lived together. She reintroduced him to the family, and he was driven, hard-driven guy. And I didn't pick it up at first. I used to call him endearingly, Frankie Goes to Hollywood. That's how long ago it was. And he liked that. But they lived together out in Willoughby Hills for 8 years. And Amy was concerned about his housekeeping skills, not his work agenda. She was working too. He was working his ass off, starting his business. And finally, they did a trial separation for 6 months to a year, depending on how it went. And at the end of that trial separation, Amy moved out and got the apartment. It was easier for her to do that. Frank stayed and maintained the house with the dogs. And they had a huge backyard fenced in and really nice in Willoughby Hills, not far from the river. And at the end of that period, Frank got the thumbs down. So Amy married for love. She met Rich at work, and he was a widower. Yeah, he's a widower, and 21 years older than Amy was. But Amy's got the maturity of genius, social entrepreneur, work, mother, car driver, everything you can imagine. And not too long after they left, Frank put everything into his business and very little into the housekeep and grocery shopping and all the things that drove Amy out. Rich, who had already had a generation before Amy came into the picture, was willing to start a new family with Amy, and they have 2 great kids. Drew, I call him Andrew. His name is, I call him Drew, and then Elle for short for Ella. And the funny thing about the formula is Frank Goes to Hollywood, the guy who was dating Jailbait, ended up making $20 million when he sold this business that prevented him from doing housework. And Amy probably won't agree with all the details, but this is poetic license, Amy. And Amy is happily married for love. Rich is a great, great guy. He's just happy where he is. He's retired. He worked for the government. They own a few houses. They live in the city or near the inner city in Ohio. I'm not going to say where it is, but in Ohio somewhere. So shout out to Drew, shout out to Ella, shout out to Meg, and Amy. But as I was talking to Amy, we talked about Meg too, and that's a whole nother video. So I misspoke. Shout out to Rich and his intelligence in pursuing my sister. Bye.